Hey, I'm Matt Blackburn, and I just received my under-counter Live Pristine water filtration unit. Really excited. I've been using the travel system for many years. It's probably my favorite product from them just because of its portability. And you can get this adapter kit so you can have clean water when you travel, which is really, really huge because a lot of people know, you get a Whole Foods, you're getting tons of water and you have to carry it to your car, and then you have to carry it to the hotel, and people don't realize how important this is, because if you don't have water filtration, you're going to ration how much water you drink, and that's not good because we're mostly water. So a lot of people, I think, just overlook the importance of a water filter, and there's so much confusion out there. There's carbon block, there's distillation, there's alkaline water filters, you have a Berkey, so many options on the market with so many different prices. But the main things to look for are acid-free, contaminant-free, and then what minerals are in it at the end. And a lot of people say, oh, no minerals, right? But that's not good because electrolyte salts run our body. And so we have magnesium, sodium, calcium, and potassium. And these are electrolyte salts that run all the voltage-gated ion channels in the body that are important for energy production. It's not just ATP, adenosine triphosphate, it's Mg-ATP, MAG-ATP. And so actually I have a podcast all about magnesium, which I'll link below, with Morley Robbins, where he talks about it. He calls it Maggie, and we're so deficient in magnesium because we're full of stress, and not just emotional stress and psychological stress and all of the stresses. You could be physically stressed, or you have iron stress and you just don't realize it. And so that's most people. Most people have iron poisoning and say, oh, Matt, you're making blanket statements. But when you understand the effect of acid rain like these people do, this is what really sold me on the filter. You're drinking iron in that tap water. You're drinking iron in that Berkey filter. You're drinking iron from your unfiltered well water. You're showering in iron when you don't have a shower filter that even kind of changes it, at least, like a dual KDF. So water is very complex. It didn't used to be this way. This is like the important thing to understand, that since the Industrial Revolution and burning fossil fuels, we're in a completely different environment. And so it's not just like, oh, find a spring. And you look at that spring with the pipe coming out, I've done it, and there's rust on the pipe, and you say, what is that rust? It's iron oxide, and that's going in you. So yeah, you're getting vortexed, energized, all this special magical water. True, there's energy in it. I'm not discounting that, but you're getting a ton of iron, which is causing heart disease, diabetes, cancer, dementia, depression, anxiety. Iron literally activates the fear center of your body. And so Morley Robbins talks about that too. It's called iron stress. And people don't think about that, but iron catalyzes inflammation. So when you go out with your friends on Friday or Saturday night, great, let's party. You drink alcohol. Oh, you have iron? Now it's worse. And you get fatty liver disease. And okay, I don't drink that. Well, you're eating salmon, you're eating seafood, and you have iron. Well, that omega-3 is going to complex with it and makes lipofuscin, non-alcoholic fatty liver. And so iron just makes everything worse. It makes life worse. So we just have to get it out of our life. And that's just one aspect of water. I'm just focusing on that. And there's magnesium, which is another piece, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But anyway, this is the filter, and it's Live Pristine. And they actually have a quote on here I'll read. Victor Schauberger and Matteo Tavera were extraordinary men, visionaries with innovative, integrated ways of understanding the processes of nature. They developed an understanding of the way that nature worked. They then developed practical applications based on what they observed. We humbly dedicate the technology for Pristine Hydro's water revival system to the lessons we learned from two of the greatest natural philosophers of all time, Victor Schauberger and Matteo Tavera. So that's pretty cool. I think people focus on the wrong things with water, and I'm just gonna add these drops to my water and it's all good, right? I'm just gonna vortex it and it's all good. I'm just going to charge it on Orgonite, whatever that is, and it's all good. But there's priorities, and I just want to emphasize, take care of the physical, third dimensional stuff before you get into nothing against the energetic stuff. Sure, pray over your water, set it next to your pet, whatever you want to do, but just take care of the actual, the contaminants in it, because that's the primary thing. Like the sulfuric and nitric acid that's eating the statues, brick walls, and decimating populations of fish and animals, decreases biodiversity, wipes out multiple different species. And it's funny because show me the research, that's the thing. Show me the research on acid rain. Well, there's research showing it's not a big deal. And then there's research showing it causes the extinction of multiple different types of species. So it's like, I'm gonna err on the side of caution, and I'm gonna look at the studies where it says alter the pH of an organism and you alter the immune system. And that goes for shellfish, like oysters. And I used to be a parasite fanatic. I'm not anymore because the benefit of animal food outweighs the detriment. But we must have this context in mind that we're in a different world now. We're not in biblical times. The air, the water, the soil, everything's different. And so just taking care of this aspect, it just still blows my mind that people say, oh, it's a fad to carry around a bottle of water. Like it's like why do people still carry around bottles of water? Well, I went for an oil change today. They just had a little sparklets thing. And if I drank that, I would have been destroyed, because I would have been drinking acids, sulfuric, nitric, hydrofluorosilicic acid, which is industrial grade fluoride. I would have been drinking hard minerals, which is a whole overlooked thing. Like you have a Berkey system, right? And it has a fluoride filter. And great, I got rid of the fluoride. But what's just as dumbing down as the fluoride? It's the hard rocks, microscopic rocks. Get a TDS meter, and I don't know if they probably included one with this. Yeah, here it is. You get a total dissolved solids meter. And if you buy this filter, because they actually care, unlike a lot of other companies, you won't find this with the Kangen system. Trust me, and you just spent $3,000 on a piece of crap. But this filter has a TDS meter with it, because these people actually are legit, and you can turn it on and put this in a little shot glass and measure your tap water. 400, 500 parts per million, drinking rocks. And then you measure this one, and it's like 30 to 70. Anything over 100 is considered hard water. So again, with the filtration system, they strip it. Not a big deal. That's great, actually. This strips the water. But what is it injecting back at the end? That's the important thing. And it should be bicarbonate salts. That's, again, sodium, calcium, potassium, magnesium, and in the bicarbonate form. So, can't put that back in. I'll do that later. So, let me pull this out of here. Well, first I'll show you what they included. So they have a water instruction manual, and they recommend getting it professionally installed. I did it myself. It's easy if you have any sort of plumbing skills. But it's very, very simple to install. It's not rocket science to put this under the sink. The worst thing you might have to do is just drill, just make one little hole. And if you have to hire someone for $100, $200, it's totally worth it. I think it's like a 20-minute install. It takes me about 20 minutes. So they have extra tubing in there, TDS meter. This is to switch out the filters. And you just keep all this stuff under your sink with it. And then they include all of these things, which makes it easier to install. And so this goes on the tank. And this machine, this little adapter, is actually very useful for the drain. So this is the hole I was talking about that you drill in, your drain in your sink. You just drill into the plastic, and then you just connect this, screw it in, connect the tubing, done. Again, it's not rocket science. It might look intimidating. It's really not hard. This is a really genius, actually, a little cutter for these, and it's a lot cleaner than using scissors. So it's good to have a lot of these extra tubes around. What else? Plumbing tape. Oh yeah, John Guest angle stop valve. This is just another piece that's very useful. I'll actually just take it out to show you guys. I've used this before and it's amazing. There we go. So they include all sorts of different adapters, and again, very easy to do this. It's not, just lay everything out, look under your sink, and start there. Again, they recommend getting it professionally installed. So let's see here. Let's see how this works. Get that piece out. You guys are probably waiting to see the actual filters. I'll pull that out. Uh-oh, did I just break something? I don't know, we're good. All right. So this is it. So this is pretty genius piece of equipment, and here we go. Put it up here so you guys can see. So there we go, and they actually list on each cartridge what they do, which is pretty cool. And the benefit, so let me go into the benefits of this versus the travel system real quick. Because people say, oh, the travel system's a lot cheaper, why don't I just go with that one? It's a trickle, so it's way better than nothing. Like when I learned this information 6-7 years ago, my mind was blown. It was like Neo in the Matrix, taking the red pill. I was just torn apart because I understood this all made sense. My mentors years before had been talking about Shilajit and magnesium, and with these people, it just all clicked and I got it. And it's been a process of living it. It wasn't just a one-day thing. But when I was living with my parents, I got the travel system. I hooked it up in the bathroom. They thought I was crazy. I said, I'm drinking real water for the first time in my entire life, which is just beyond words, but it's reality. Most people have not ever drank real water, and that means acid-free, contaminant-free, no pharmaceuticals, no hard minerals, no radiation, like nothing. And it's been vortexed, run over rocks, and has the right form of minerals that nature makes. So that's the thing. They aren't like synthetic minerals. This is how nature did it. So you have minerals going down the river, and you have an oxide, carbonate, hydroxide, and then the smallest one is a bicarbonate. And the bicarbonate is made through Mother Nature's processes. So this is a completely natural thing, and that's like hard for people to get. Because what do you mean? Look at all this plastic. How's this natural? Well, we're recreating how water used to be, and that's incredible. It's something that you actually have to feel, and I have people saying, "Oh, I'm having depression, I'm having anxiety, I'm having detoxification symptoms just from drinking water." It's crazy, but it happened. I mean, we're 70% water. So KDF and carbon, deionization, remineralization. It's like the basic steps. And then at the end, it actually goes through, if you can see there, quartz and lodestones. And so these are very, very powerful crystals. And this isn't a woo-woo, namaste, or new age thing. Water naturally vortexes and then runs over rocks. And that's where we get our spring water. And so this is recreating that. And lodestone is actually permanent earth magnets. It's magnetite. It's been struck by lightning. And if you measure this with a Gauss meter, there's poles everywhere on it. It's like mini little planets. And when the water runs over the lodestone, this is woo-woo, it actually changes the water electromagnetically. And it's kind of beyond my scope to explain how that exactly works, but it does work. And lodestones are one of those things. I think it's better than shungite, and orgonite, and I played with all that stuff. Lodestones are the real deal. And then quartz, that's one of the most prevalent minerals on the planet, and they're made of silica. That's why it's best to drink out of glass, even though it's clunky. And I really like this. This one is called Purist, and it's just very, very clean material. That's why they named it Purist. $60 or something. And they actually include this one, which is stainless steel, coffee and stuff. Try to stay away from stainless steel. It's not the best. Yeah, there's better options, and you pay a little extra. That's a whole nother thing, transporting water. But just to finish on this, just a simple pump. It's non-electric, so you don't need to plug this in or anything. But there's just a pump to help it through. And in the manual, it says where to connect all of the different hoses. So it's pretty basic. Again, do not be intimidated. Set this out on your kitchen floor, get some nice lighting going, pull out the manual, lay out the parts, and just check it out. Check out the situation. It's not too crazy. So again, just to finish off this, I know I'm jumping around. The difference between this and the travel system are this comes with a tank. And so with a 3.2 gallon reservoir tank, and this is one of the major differences to me, a huge difference. I guess I can open this up and show you guys. So the travel system is a trickle. This is like an actual flow. So it's a pressurized tank, and this is a game changer if you're not living alone. If you're living alone, not a big deal. You just fill up the 5 gallon, glass carboys, and you're done. But if you're a family, you have children, even a couple, and you're going through water, you have plants, you're watering your plants, you want to get the tank. And you can buy this, just whatever, eBay, something like that. They're very standard, but it's nice that it comes with it, so you don't have to worry about it. And you just hook it up and you pump it up, or it's already pressurized. I think once a year you're supposed to add some pressure to it. But I have this sitting, you can put this, you can put this under your sink like this or like this, doesn't matter. And so again, don't worry about the space. I have a really small under counter area under my sink, and I just shove this right in there. And then there's a pipe that went right next to it. So again, it doesn't have to be vertical. So that's another myth. People think, oh, I need a ton of space, to fit this filter. No, you don't. You just slide this in, any way. It can even the filter itself could be on its side. So another difference between this and the travel system, in that these are oversized filters, and so they'll last longer. So the filtration unit, and people call this reverse osmosis, it's beyond that. So if you go to Costco, you buy a cheap 4-stage, 6-stage, 8-stage. I believe this is 12 stages, if I'm correct, and 8 to 12, something like that. And this is beyond reverse osmosis. Because reverse osmosis, they say, oh, it's dead water. Well, yeah, it's dead if it doesn't run over rocks, it doesn't vortex, and most importantly, screw the alkaline talk, alkalizing minerals. Alkalizing minerals are important because people think, oh, alkaline water, and they just get all crazy. It's really the magnesium that is the biggest buffer to metabolic acids in the body. And so my family, they're having gas, from the bicarbonate, because you're drinking Berkey, you're drinking acids, you're on an acid trip. And what do you think when you start adding bicarbonate salts to your body and you're neutralizing all these acids that you haven't just been, sipping, you've been megadosing them, showering once or twice a day in acids, drinking 8 to 10 cups of acids a day. It's going to take some time, and you'll probably experience some type of reaction, but it's a good reaction. It's a balancing reaction, because right now the water is out of balance in favor of acids. So this system, it's not extreme. It's bringing us back to center. It's mostly magnesium with trace amounts of calcium, potassium, and sodium. And then there's even silica, which is really cool, in the form of orthosilicic acid. Orthosilicic acid is the most natural form of silica. And silica is one of the most abundant, it is the most abundant mineral in the Earth's crust, is silica. It's glass. And silica, and if you look at the studies, 10 milligrams a day for 90 days, 60 to 70% reduction in aluminum. That's pretty important to know, especially because acid rain liberates excess amounts of iron and aluminum from the soil. So we don't just have iron overload, we have a ton of aluminum. No big deal, just causes Alzheimer's, dementia, don't worry about it, right? But no, silica, 60 to 70%, and how does it do it? It complexes with the aluminum, forms what's called aluminosilicates. Aluminosilicates leave the urine, no more aluminum. And so this is the big thing, like I'm big in the debate space in the alternative health community, and there's so many arguments, right? It's oxalates. No, it's the plants, right? You need to go carnivore. No, you need to go vegan. You need all the alkaline whatever BS, and they're totally out to lunch because they're getting, just retardation from all the hard minerals, and all these arguments, right? It's like guys, like get back to the foundation. It's minerals. Like, what's the problem? If we can identify, there's acid rain, they're growing our food with biosludge, tap water, synthetic NPK fertilizer that's remnants from World War I and World War II. The whole nitrogen cycle's screwed. The hydrological cycle's different. We're not, again, living in biblical times. These are completely different times. And if you miss that piece, then you will go down in a really painful way at some point in your life. And it might take 10, 15, 20 years. Different people go down at different times, but you'll go to the doctor and say, wow, how you're developing diabetes. You say, what are you talking about? I drink filtered water, I exercise, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. What are you talking about diabetes? What are you talking about pancreatic cancer, right? What does the pancreas need? It needs bicarbonate. And what do you think when you smash the pancreas with acids, sulfuric and nitric, then the pancreas shuts off? What do you think you got pancreatic cancer? Well, you just turned off the pancreas from showering in acids and drinking acids all day, every day, for let's just say 20, 30, 40 years, whatever you were diagnosed, right? So I'm not saying this is like, a cure for anything, of course, but if you look at magnesium bicarbonate specifically in the work of Russell Beckett and farm animals, 20 to 30% lifespan increase just from magnesium bicarbonate. Magnesium actually affects the calcium ion channels that EMFs open. 3,700 plus enzymes / proteins are magnesium dependent. You only have 25 to 30,000 that run your entire body. 3,750 plus enzymes are magnesium deficient or dependent. That's pretty important. That's a lot. That almost sounds to me like 1/5 or 1/6 of the enzymes in your body run on magnesium. What do you think if you don't have magnesium and you're getting a ton of calcium and potassium, which antagonize or lower it? That's a problem. And that's your Berkey system. That's your tap water. That's your well water. You're getting a ton of calcium. I drink Perrier, Matt. I drink gel cider. I drink whatever name spring water that's in glass and it's glacier, blah, blah, blah. Okay, parts per million of calcium. Or, cut the BS, get your TDS meter, pour it in a shot glass. Whoa, that amazing spring water I've been drinking is 200, 300, 400 parts per million. I think it's Perrier that has the ratio 45:1 calcium to magnesium. That's a heart attack in a bottle. If I wanted to give someone a heart attack and I was controlling the world, I was like in the elites or whatever, I would give them a heavy PUFA diet. I would give them magnesium deficiency. I would give them a ton of calcium and potassium, and I would give them iron overload, because that's going to stop the heart really quick. And magnesium, it's supposed to be in the red blood cells. Once it's drained, and you can get this test called an RBC magnesium test. No magnesium in the red blood cell, the serum magnesium lowers. If your serum magnesium goes below a certain point, you have a heart attack, you're checking out. And that's the problem with a lot of these tests. With iron, they're looking at ferritin, which they switched in the 70s. They used to look in the right place. But for some reason, now they look at ferritin. They say, low ferritin? Oh, you have anemia. That's BS. You just have iron dysregulation. They're looking in the wrong spot. It's in the tissues. They don't measure there. But you can get an iron panel, full Monty iron panel, and find out. Same thing with magnesium. They're not looking in the right place. So you say, what do you mean, madam? I take a multivitamin. I get my magnesium. Magnesium carbonate, garbage. Magnesium oxide, garbage. 4% or something absorbability. Bicarbonate. I always go back to like the most natural forms. There's nothing wrong with synthetics to me. I think they have their place. Just like, whatever, certain pharmaceuticals for targeted treatments, sure. But when we get to long-term health, you want to go with natural. And so that's going to be magnesium bicarbonate. So that's one of the main things with this filter that I love, is that it is dosing you with magnesium. And then you could actually use this water, and I'll make a video on this, to make your magnesium bicarbonate concentrate, which is just amazing for anxiety, depression, insomnia, fatigue, almost any condition. I get a lot of questions, and 9 times out of 10, my response is, are you taking magnesium bicarbonate? And I'll tell you, 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. And my mind's just blown, because this is a across the board thing. And people say, oh, we're all different, and we're all on planet Earth. We all have excess iron. We all have excess acids. Unless you're not eating produce, you're getting a ton of calcium all the time for your entire life. And we used to get magnesium bicarbonate, we don't anymore. So it's like logical things to me anyway. So one of the best things about this filter is making your magnesium bicarbonate concentrate, because it kind of works with reverse osmosis water. It's not going to work with spring water. And you cool it, you carbonate it, and then you add this powder. It's called electrolyte balance, and it makes a concentrate of magnesium bicarbonate, a liquid. And people say, oh, it tastes fishy. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but you can just drink it straight. I just swig it throughout the day. And how you know you have too much? Loose stools, diarrhea. And you just back off. It's not a bad thing. Probably need to clean it out. It's better than a colonic or an enema. To me, it's more natural. But most people start with 2 ounces a day, 1 ounce in the morning, 1 ounce at night. And that's it's a lifestyle change. It's not just a supplement. It's totally changed my life, the magnesium bicarbonate alone. Just understanding that piece. It's called the magnesium burn rate. That's what you really need to get. And iron stress, iron overload, increases your burn rate of magnesium. What's iron? It's stress. Polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFAs, those increase your magnesium burn rate because they increase stress. Restricting carbohydrates, restricting calories, those increase your magnesium burn. So you can see, like, you look at maybe a friend, whoa, Matt, you just hit on everything that they're doing. And to me, that's like the fasting vegan community or the keto carnivore community. I don't need supplements. It's like a badge of honor. Come on, guys, look at the environment. This is like common sense stuff. I'm not going to be surprised if a lot of these big names go down, hitting the ground hard from just the magnesium piece. It's so important to get this. And don't take my word for it. Listen to my interviews. I'll post those links below. It's well known that magnesium is crucial for health. It's not in the food. Magnesium bicarbonate is only found in liquid form. It used to be in our water. Thanks to acid rain, it's no longer in our water. So simple, we just add it back in. And the filter replacement on this is only $85. These are their oversized filters for a year. So 12 months they recommend. And you could order 24 at a time. I think you get a little bit of a discount, but not bad. So a little bit of investment, 1 year filter change for 85 bucks, and you save a lot over time. I know a lot of people go to the water store. I used to do it when I lived in an apartment with roommates. I found a local water store. I would go and fill up 50 to 60 gallons in plastic BPA-free jugs. That was a workout. That took a lot of time. Every 3 weeks, that was a journey, right? That was like a 1 hour and a half little workout there. Now imagine you have this, and all you do is you just turn the spout, and wow, you have water, right? People say, it's not natural. Well, our conditions are not natural right now. Not saying don't drink spring water. If I want to connect with the environment or whatever, I'm in a national forest, I'll take a swig. But to be your primary drinking water, let's get real. Like just get practical. For your primary everyday water, you want to have these conditions: acid-free, contaminant-free, and properly mineralized. And then the last thing I want to show you with this filter is this. Wait, no, they didn't include it. I think, it's a little extra in here now. So this is the spigot, and there's something called a flow lock, I believe, and I really recommend it. I think it's like 30 bucks or something, and it's really cool. It's designed for this filter, and all you do is you sit this whole unit in there, because people say, what if something breaks? The water line's connected to this, and it's always on, right? So when you hook the tank to this, the tank goes down. There's always water going through this. But what happens if you're on vacation and your cat or your animal, knocks something or it starts to flood? Well, you come back to a flooded house, right? So the smart precaution to do with this is just to get that system, flow lock, I believe. And it's just it's a little basin, plastic basin that goes under the whole filter. You just stick this on top of it, and it's a little foam thing that you hook onto the main line, so the water coming into the unit. And if there's a leak, then it's going to fill that basin, and when it fills it a certain amount, it expands the foam and it pops and it cuts the supply of water, which is pretty cool. That's a pretty smart system. And so that's really all you need. TDS meter, you have that, you have the tank, you have that little flow lock system, and you're set. You have clean water. And when you start drinking this, you'll understand and be like, wow, I haven't ever had real water like this. And I didn't know I was dehydrated, because you were subconsciously rationing water because you didn't have water. So when you actually get real water, you can start to get hydrated again. And it's a whole different feeling in your brain. You know the difference when you drink other water. You can start to feel the difference. And I think that's basically it. Everything else I want to say. Yeah, the one thing I would just caution, this is not, people say, this is a reverse osmosis system. It's technically not, because most I would almost say all of them, don't have the proper form of deionization. So with deionization, there's cation and anion resin filters, and there's mixed bed, there's all these little details, and the details do matter, and they remove different types of acids. And the same thing with remineralization. The cheaper filters are gonna add back in chloride or carbonate, and you really wanna have bicarbonate. So these people figured it all out. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's a small investment. Once you get an $85 a year filter change, and you're set. It's a game changer for your health. So if you want to save $300, you can use the code Blackburn300, and I'll put a link below. You can check it out. And they have a great YouTube channel as well. So watch their YouTube videos explaining water filtration, and it's critical. I think this is the starting place with health, is water, because everyone has to drink water. You can't not drink water. And what are you going to drink, right? And water can either harm you or help you. A lot of people don't get that. There's not only tons of pharmaceuticals in the water, like San Francisco, a ton of estrogenic endocrine disruptors in the water. Not just, subclinical microdoses of countless pharmaceuticals that people are peeing out in birth control. Berkey's, I don't know if the Berkey's going to take that out, right? And those can be just as, if not more, dumbing down than fluoride. I think a lot of people are just focusing too much on fluoride. Get fluoride-free toothpaste, get the fluoride out of your water. It's like, guys, did you forget about the hard minerals? Did you forget about the pharmaceuticals? Did you forget about the calcium? Because all three of those things I just mentioned do cause mental retardation. It just takes time. So, so that's it. Pristine Hydro, lid pristine, under counter unit. Thanks for watching. Check out the links below. I'm Matt Blackburn.